Oh, well, you're just gonna have to forgive the hair here. This isn't some kind of new look we got. I took a shower and I combed it back, and normally it doesn't stay like this. But for now, it's staying like this. So just gonna roll with it here for July 31st, 1997. Going back to Shoreline again. This time for Randy, and this was a big one. And when I was first getting into the band during the hiatus and just diving deep, trying to find as much as I could. I was even becoming a soundboard snob back then. You could find them, but this was one, an audience, still an audience. Still don't have a live Phish for this one, unfortunately. But we do have an audience recording to listen to still, and it was some people's favorite show back then. So many great shows to be played after this, including later this year, in fall of '97. And then within the show, there was different highlights for different people. Some people, a lot of people, the YEM probably their favorite. And then you had this Crazy Mike's, a Jim. I thought the McGrupp was absolutely amazing. Now it didn't reach the levels of all of those. The Yamar, we still don't get a lot of jammed out Yamars. Back then, way rare. So, and look at the opener, a jammed out Ghost. It didn't go crazy like Yamar or YEM or like the Jim attempted to, but it wasn't either, and it wasn't like a Soul Planet either, or best case scenario, Sigma Oasis. So it wasn't like the Rockin' Wilson Punch You in the Eye opener that I think a lot of us love, but nobody's really going to complain about a jammed out Ghost opening up. And it played that rocker kind of, part funk, part rocker, a little bit of a popper there, So it played its role as the opener, and then it doesn't take them long to start getting into it with Yamar. It felt like it was going to be a normal Yamar, even maybe felt like it was going to end, though. And then this one here with Mike and Fishman specifically, it felt like, this is where we need the live Phish recording, and just a perfect mix. And then Dog Stole Things. Yes, I forgot the S. Thought this was a near perfect Dog Stole Things, which it is, but unfortunately it's Dogs. I could lie and be like, well, the S was supposed to connect. It was like Dog Stole Things, and I love that one. As we're calming back down in between two big monsters, Limb by Limb and the Yamar. And again, this is the specific version where I sometimes say this was like a song. This is really a Fishman song written for Fishman. This is the one, and it was kind of infamous back then. There wasn't like internet memes, but there would have been internet memes of Fishman commenting like, one of these days I'm going to nail it. And, Trey commenting that in the dress he can't, but in a suit he can. And then we get into Dirt, and that was just like, I don't know, that moment right there was such a big deal within such a great show. Then we get over to, that's amazing that like Dirt, Maze, and Glide, kind of like Slave to the Traffic Light, my beloved Slave to the Traffic Light, and Maze, just songs I feel like did not really fit into 1997. And this one just, smoking all the way through. If you went to the bathroom during Dirt, perhaps he was punishing you. And then Glide after that. See, like a Glide, Gumbo maybe here. Songs that maybe felt more. Saw It Again coming in. And then only to lead us into the You Enjoy Myself. Perhaps the highlight of the night. Santa Claus is Coming to Town tease. And all the way up through like The Boy Man. It's just a really good YEM. Then the jam kind of goes off into a different direction. Like kind of just that space rock kind of funk, like what is this a little bit, and you could just almost feel like it was being conducted, it was like, ooh, wow, it wasn't just a bunch of miscellaneous sounds, although you might think it could have been just a bunch of miscellaneous sounds, but there was some nice stuff going on, and then You Enjoy Myself, and then probably 20 minutes in, it kind of goes back into Trey, and you immediately know, like, all right, we're wrapping up this YEM jam proper. Mike gets his little moment, and then unfortunately, yes, we did get a vocal jam. So really, if it wasn't the Yamar or the Limb by Limb, it was the YEM that put that. Just made it one of the probably one of the sets of the year, probably in 1997, and it was an outstanding year, and they weren't done. Runaway Jim. Although the Runaway Jim, they were like, wow, let's try more of this, But there it wasn't, it did not seem like it was being conducted. While, the first part of it, just a straight rockin' Jim, almost like a bluesy a little bit rockin' Jim. And then they tried like, all right, let's get a little bit funky and weird with it. But then it just kind of, I don't know, leads into When the Circus Comes to Town and Vultures. Again, not two pretty good songs just to have as like your lull. And then into a big McGrupp. Nothing special about the McGrupp other than it just seemed like it was just perfectly nailed. Again, would kill for a live Phish of this. And just the smooth changes from one to the other, the tempo up and then slightly down. For a long time, probably back then too, when I was falling in love with the show, I thought it was the Flea Hound McGrupp, or is it? And then we get the Mike song. It starts out like, okay, this is an ordinary good Mike song. And then it just starts getting harder and harder and heavier. And then, once it reaches that crescendo, about as heavy as a Mike's can get, starts to drift. And then we get a bit of a second jam where it was like more chill, but still kind of angry and mean. Kind of a hard Mike's, like a cooler tempo, but still heavy and mean, into a hydro, which is great. This over here, which is just like, going to break somebody's neck, and then into hydrogen. And then into Weekapaw, we get the happy birthday to Jerry the following day. Trey mentions they're trying to keep the tradition of the music going along, kind of keeping the light Grateful Dead theme here on this channel, with Merdizzle choosing shows with sit-ins, and then the Sphere shows, although it's not even really remotely close to the Grateful Dead at this point, and then totally flipping it over and giving it a nod to Neil Young to end what was probably a 5.8 out of 6 star show. What was the point two, you say? I don't know. Nothing's perfect, really. Can't be. When the circus comes to town, maybe. Dirt. All right. That was punishment. He played Dirt. A lot of people, you can imagine if you made the mistake of thinking McGrupp was your bathroom song in the second set. And there was even a point, too, for a song that wasn't too wild, and they're just playing the song, that was cool to have an audience tape here, because people were just like, they were possessed to be like, yeah. You could hear it. You could feel it, Nailed it. That was a good McGrupp. If you're a McGrupp guy or gal, check this one out. Well, boom. Check. All right. Just seemed like that needed some red. It was all good. All of it, really. All of this. Boom. All right. Boom. Boom. Randy, thank you. That was a nice trip down memory lane. Had this one on CD back then. Damn it. I can't believe I blew it. Look how great that looks, too. Man. It's a pretty good looking whiteboard, even though it's dogs. Dog Tulse things. This is